as we jump into their final ban here. Camille also taken off the board, another way you could snowball lane. And Gala's Ezreal also off the board here.
So we have our friendly Red Canids fan there in the audience as the Ahri ban was pretty interesting to me. To ban that away on blue side, we have seen so much value out of just picking that up early, but they say, no, we don't want to go for that early on here, and they will avoid that for now. So they do go ahead and pick up the Lucian. Of course, when you have Xiaohu on your team, and Gala, of course, can play it, and probably Bing can as well. Like, it's just a great pick, especially it makes me think of Xiaohu's Lucian straight away.
It's in this tournament in particular, it has been a bot lane 2v2 tempo-based pick to try to control the bottom side. But for RNG, you always do iconically think of Xiaohu's mid and top Lucian. As we will see the Wukong locked in here, as well as we're actually going to see Draven for Titan in the bottom side of the map. And he has been the standout player for this roster, 100%. His Jhin has been fantastic. And if he's given the opportunity to carry on this Draven, late game possibilities are endless.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like they are pretty prepared for this, expecting the Lucian Nami to come out, as this is what should be the bottom lane here for RNG. And very curious to see if Titan's Draven alongside of Jojo can actually challenge this. And once again, seeing the Wukong prio that does come through for the side of the Red Canids.
Really early Gwen here is something that we don't normally see actually in the LPL or in the LCK face up like this, because you have the opportunity to, of course, counterpick the Jace. But against Red Canids here, you don't feel too comfortable, or you don't feel like GUIGO is going to be comfortable laning against Bin on the Jace and taking that counterpick. So you can actually lock this in early and then wait and respond here in the mid lane. So we'll see actually the Nautilus locked in here for Grevthar. So now this bottom lane is kind of set. But you do have a lot of opportunities to counter-engage with the Nautilus. Lucian is going to be pushing this super hard, going to actually be very aggressive down there. But if you make one single mistake, then things can go awry down there with the Nautilus pick. I do like this.
Yeah, so now taking a look at some of the bans that we are going to see jumping into the second phase. The Draven immediately taken away from Wei here, so more bans taken away from him. They do not want to let him get onto the Draven. And we'll see what else they decide to go for. I think that potentially trying to ban away Xiaohu can be difficult at times, as the Zoe will be taken away from Grevthar.
I think the Viego is another great ban here, potentially, for Red Canids. Take that one away from Wei. Anything that could pair with the mid laner here, mid lane CC, we don't know what it's going to be just yet, is how RNG are going to try to play that early game, get those early kills, get that gold lead. So if you've already focused on the volley bear, you've now taken away the Jarvan. I personally would have liked a Viego ban here, but it will be the Graves. Taking away Graves says, I want to take away oppressive vision control. When you're playing a tempo-based comp like the Lucian Nami, you get ahead, you have that Umbral Glaive on the Graves, you take away vision. It's extremely difficult to play against a team like RNG that loves to play around vision, loves to play around brushes. So alternatively, it could have banned the Viego here, but they want to say, this is the best champion at controlling vision right now in this meta. I'm not going to deal with that. I don't want to fall behind and lose the game in 10 minutes.
Yeah, definitely not a bad idea. There certainly is a very scary Viego spot here still for RNG. But let's go ahead and see what Red Canids are going to pick up here first. So potentially looking for a blind pick for the mid lane, or do they just go ahead and counter the Gwen? It looks like they will go ahead and do just that and pick up the Jax.
This is a pretty strong position for Grevthar because he has the opportunity to now counter pick here. You have the Wukong pick for jungle. It's a very strong pick, can counter gank extremely well. And once you find out what Xiaohu's plan is going to be in the mid lane, you can play around that so extremely well. You can play a champion that allows you to play safer. As you see the Galio hover here. Be extremely interesting to see that one with the Gwen, traditionally paired with the Camille that was banned earlier, and it will be locked in. And this gives a lot of opportunity here for Grevthar to play a champion where he wants to outrange, outpoke, and just kind of chip away at the Galio. But this is the Viego pairing, right? You have CC in the mid lane, so now Grevthar needs to play a champion that allows him some control over late game, some scaling. If he feels comfortable that he could play something like a Viktor here, sit back, wait for the late game, wait for that Draven, and then survive through the mid game, play very defensively, sit back, lose CS, in fact, in the lane, oftentimes to play safe. That's the pick I'm looking for here, and that's what Grevthar thinks too, it looks like as well. You see the hover come through. Now the composition here for Red Canids, I think if you could stave off that aggression, bottom lane goes all right. You don't end up losing out in the lane. You avoid Wei's gank timings. You've got the counter pick on top side. Play around mid and bottom. play safe, play slow, this is a winnable game here for Red Canids. Draft is much stronger towards the late parts.
Yeah, definitely can be. And when you look at RNG, you know, again, not showing too much. You know, I think that you take a look at this and you can understand it. I believe we are going to have Galio swap to the mid lane. I don't think the Galio Nami lane is happening here at the MSI. Sorry, guys. I know you're all looking forward to that one. Not really, but
I do appreciate the call out though. Like Xiaohu holds it for a second just to remind everybody how great he is on the champion. I do actually like subtle things like that in champ swap.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they have a lot of ways to get stuff going. You know, with the Viego and the Gwen for potential cleanup, and Xiaohu maybe fulfilling a little bit more of that front line role for his team.
It's no secret that RNG are the one, let's say.
Generally, and I believe that Chitan can play it well enough alongside of Jojo to get something going and make it interesting in the bottom side, regardless of who they're up against. And Bin right now, he's getting baited into this fight against GUIGO. He's got Chitan and Jojo on the other side of him, and he's just going to accept his death. That's going to be first blood to the Draven in the bottom lane. We are already beginning.
Hey, I said, if this goes wrong in any way, the game gets so hard so quickly. And historically speaking, you think about the CBLOL region as a region that doesn't play macro very well. They're a scrappy region. They play team fights well. We've watched the evolution of Red Canids. We've watched them play a little bit of side laning, some really good vision control, some macro in this tournament. It's not like you go, okay, well, it's a rough start for RNG, but they'll just win out because they're the better team later on. Not necessarily, especially not with these comps. So setting this up early, really nice heads-up play from Red Canids. Get first blood to Titan. Massive lead for him. Fortunately for Bin, the timing of this allows him to return to lane. If he falls behind against this Jax 2 as a result at the same time, this game really goes off the rails. So at least that part is safe. He's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to make this game extremely interesting right from the get-go. But if you guys want to make your games interesting, do not forget to grab your exclusive Scare Prize Prime Gaming emotes, as we do have a 2v2 in the bottom side. We got Ignite already in here. Gala is getting in that damage onto Chitan. And you know what they could have spammed right after that fight? Is the Scare Prize Prime Gaming emote. So make sure you guys pick that up.
Yep. Zan does have that extra longsword for damage here, still has 2 pots he can chug through as well, so that first blood is actually going to really impact how these early trades go, because Gala and Ming want to look for that type of fight here, but the sustain is there, the damage is there, and they're falling behind early, which is not how this lane wanted to go. Yeah,
and you know the interesting thing is we talked about, we might have to talk about this, a bit of a 1v1 on the top side. Bin was thinking about getting on in there. GUIGO taking some minion damage as well. He is going to be forced to flash away. Hops back in for a little bit of a trade, but, you know, Bin, he's got Ignite in this lane, and now GUIGO's down a flash. That could turn into a problem.
Yeah, it's still early levels, really long cooldowns here for GUIGO. Now does have level 3. No flash, of course. Bin is going to feel very comfortable with that fact as Wei.
Uh-oh. May not expect this, as he's going to get that smite down with Aegis, and now he's getting on top of Wei, who will have to flash, and he does survive, but what is he going to feel now as Aegis is all over his jungle?
Yeah, flash gone, loses the buff. This is actually a massive turn here in this jungle, and what can be a very volatile jungle matchup here. And what this does is it allows Grevthar, again, to have a lot more freedom, feel a lot more comfortable in the mid lane. He's going to just pass straight down bottom side here as this wave is getting pushed through. The early Nami Lucian prio not working out so far here for RNG in this early game.
Yeah, and he's losing a bit of time here because the wave was not big enough. It was actually cleared up very nicely by Gala and Ming, as we do have another fight up in the top side. This time RNG rotating 3 members up to GUIGO, who does not have his flash. He is dead, but how will he die? Who's going to pick up the kill is the question. They're just going to hand that over to Xiaohu. They say, yep, carry Galio coming in hot.
Yeah, just unfortunately not able to identify quickly enough that this was happening. It's a very common response to send, you know, your mid laner and your jungler to look for a counterplay on the top side of the map after your jungle is stolen like this, because Wei needs to make up for the lost red buff by coming over here and taking these Krugs. Didn't actually even need to be involved in this kill, but I think that GUIGO could have definitely shown a lot more respect there.
We're gonna catch Ming here. They've got Ignite again, and that is going to be another kill, but Chitan is getting pretty low. He's trying to get those autos in, and one knockback could have been enough, and now Jojo, he's up a level on Gala. He is going to be chasing down this Lucian. The hook will be dodged, as he is taking some of that minion damage, but not quite enough.
That's a really important dodge there. He dies.
He's got flash though, and Gala just stands there in front of the flash Nautilus. That gives the kill away.
That is just a massive amount of disrespect. He's got flash available. You dodged the hook. You just dodged a bullet. You just were able to escape death. You cheated death, and then you just stood in flash range there. 2 kills going over to Nautilus though. So still the first blood is in Teton's hands. Meanwhile,
okay, they're just going to try to get on top of Bin here, but the wave is pushing, so he should be totally fine.
and this is a composition from RNG that is supposed to have a pretty firm control over the early game. They're not an early game team in their region, and they are falling behind. 900 gold, the advantage here at 5 minutes for Red Canids in a composition that has a Viktor, has a Draven. And the only good thing for RNG right now at the moment is that 2 of those kills sit on Jojo's Nautilus and not, of course, on the Draven. To go back to this fight again here as well, I mean, this is so much damage early on for a Draven. Max range here, hook here, and Gala decides to try to go in. It almost felt like it was a bait attempt here from RNG, but when you're this far behind early in the game, you don't actually win these. Now, he just barely dodges the hook. I mean, that was almost pixel perfect. And then goes up here into flash range. And this is
oh man!
I mean, every opportunity he could have had there to actually try to catch up in CS is just gone instantly.
Yeah, it's really rough too, because you know he desperately wants to stay so that he doesn't miss the cannon wave. As we have another fight happening down here, I think that Wei is probably down here in that brush. I believe I saw him earlier. Yes, he is. Shout out to our observers for hiding that one as well. Here comes Xiaohu, who is level 6, but a little bit more obvious than Wei, as he is going to be on this control ward, does clear it out. Just trying to put on some pressure to the bottom side and not let this bleed out as much as it is right now to the side of Red Canids.
Yeah, this is our big problem. If you do just let this sit at this point, your Lucian becomes less and less valuable. So even though, you know, they're both sitting at 1 and 1, a lot of extra assist goals on the bottom side. We'll see just a Counter-Strike trade here for Bin. But if you could still go down there and turn this one around, Lucian can be right back in the driver's seat, actually, with a good gank. But it's unsuccessful here, which gives free farm over to Grevthar. He's got such an early game.
Oh man, look at the damage though. The empowered autos from the Nami on top of this Lucian, and all it takes is, you know, if Cheetan's not in a position to shell back any damage, he's also a squishy 80 carry, and that is the power of Lucian Nami bot.
Yeah, it's just such a powerful combo. We've seen it so much this tournament. Jojo is going to scout out this dragon, but they don't have Prio here to contest.
Yeah. Grevthar doesn't have any mana either, so should just be this Cloud Drake going over to RNG. Nicely pulled back into their favor down into the bottom side of the map.
I think the game plan here for Red Canids now is to just not take very many risks. You know, you see this dragon, you force a smaller rotation, but you're not going to contest, you're not going to play for that. This upcoming Rift Herald fight, if you can get Prio here, maybe you go for a play there, but only if you know you can take it guaranteed, because you're sitting 300, 400 gold up right now against Lucian Nami comp with a Galio involved, and you know, you have the side laning power that Gwen does as well, because you have this Jax, you have the late game insurance policy of the Viktor. And as long as you don't give RNG back control of the game, as long as you don't serve them up an easy one, then, you know, you're still feeling really comfortable right now as Red Canids. So just minimize risk is going to be the name of the game. As Rift Herald is up here, they rotate Jojo up. Grevthar is going to have some Prio. And they won't even have to fight for this one. And this is great news. RNG just really not going to be able to get anything cross-mapped for this, because Titan is just down here. Now, if he dies, that's one thing, but he's going to be all right.
Yeah, and Gala's not even level 6, so it's not even like he can put pressure on with any kind of culling to force Titan out of the lane. So this is, as you mentioned, it's a free Rift Herald going over to the side of Red Canids. They lose basically nothing by picking this one up, and they will be very happy with this trade. So you're talking about Macro and CBLOL and Red Canids. You know, I really want to see them get it into a lane where they've got some plates down, really try to push the envelope here. Even though they do have a nice amount of scaling, I think that getting ahead of RNG early will do them a really big benefit in this game.
Oh, absolutely. And the places you could drop it, obviously mid and top, it's probably going to be easier to drop it here for Grevthar.
A little bit of a play, but yeah, it's just going to be a flash out of Grevthar. He does lose that for now.
If they could give Grevthar that extra gold early, it's going to make the upcoming Drake fight so easy to pull off, whereas Jax is going to be pretty self-sufficient in this game.
Flash on in with the Counter-Strike, but Xiaohu is here which will mean a dead GUIGO almost definitely. There is the taunt. He does go down. Let's see the response to Red Canids on the bottom side. This tidal wave is getting so much value as Wei gets in there. He is going to turn into Nautilus, and even the knockup is not enough, but Xiaohu does pick up 1 kill at least on the bottom side of that fight. Gala, he's looking for more, and he will be able to take out Xiaohu on the backside of that as well.
So massive plays on both sides of the map here for RNG. Fantastic tidal wave from Ming is really what does it here, as Grevthar is going to come over here and try to defend this turret. Galio going to get that free push. Top side is going over, and things got very bad, very fast here for the Red Canids, because the lead they had, the control they had, and how much of a safe place they were in to kind of coast through this mid game is now kind of all washed away as the gold lead completely swings now back over to RNG's side. And it's plays like this, unfortunately, for GUIGO, where he's getting actually just out-mechanicked by Bin in the top side of the map that are costing them so big. Nice dodge here on the counter-strike, forces a flash. Now GUIGO's flashless, can't get out. Xiaohu's already here for the play. That's an easy taunt finish up for the kill.
We got another fight. This is Jojo against Bin. Not going to amount to too much, as we do have a bit of a lane swap from the side of the Red Canids, trying to get Xiaohu into a little bit easier of a lane, but RNG should be able to respond to this, and you'll note that the gold lead, even with this Rift Herald, it hasn't been dropped yet, yes, but still, things have gone massively in RNG's favor for the last 2-3 minutes of this game. After a couple of team fights did go in their favor, Xiaohu was easily able to roam up to the top side in Hero's entrance to help out with the 1v1, whereas Grevthar, without a flash, he doesn't really have any prio. There's no vision really around mid. He couldn't warn GUIGO, and I think GUIGO just needs to know that, hey, there's a Galio on the Rift. My Viktor can't really do anything to help with that. So even with that, Grevthar was late to the bottom side play as well, just because he doesn't really have a lot of control over this lane after he lost his flash and wasn't there on time. So Xiaohu is able to get 1 plate, but what else is he going to get? He's going to eat a death. That is what he will receive. Gala picks up yet another kill
as well.
Yeah, he's pretty much dead here. We got Needles coming in as well. No flash for him. No vision on the bottom side. And now RNG are beginning to start the steamroller. They're revving it up.
Okay, Aegis and Jojo, though, in this brush. Not going to look for an engage here. Unseen. But, oh no. This is greed. I mean, this is the greed getting punished. I mean, there's no way out, right? You know, in this case, if you're in that brush, you stay that long, like, you're dying one way or the other, or you get lucky and they don't see you. And this game, unfortunately, this is one of those tragic games of League where you really feel like, oh, okay, man, an upset might have potentially been on the way. Like, Red Canids actually had these kind of free advantages they shouldn't have been able to take, and they were looking golden. And then a few critical mistakes back to back, and suddenly it's back in RNG's hands. And I don't want to say this is a lost game right here. It's not hopeless yet, but man, you got to feel so bad with the lead you had before.
Rift Herald has to be dropped down here. It was timing out, and they do have some vision in here. They should be able to at least pick up a couple of plates, but that's about it, right? And most of it will go over to Aegis, so the two of them will just back away. They do not get the first turret. They do not pass go. And yeah, I mean, I guess they should be able to pick up this Infernal Drake. That is something. You know, we talked about some of the scaling they have in their composition. Maybe you pick up one Infernal. A couple of mistakes from RNG here and there, perhaps you can pull this game back. But again, you know, some of the decision-making we have seen hasn't been indicative of them being able to do that, as we do have a double taunt coming in here. That is going to be the end of Xiaohu and the end of GUIGO as well. Double kill for the side of RNG now.
Yeah, this is really starting to get off the rails. The lead that they have now is so strong, and Lucian is actually relevant, because it looked concerning, like, okay, maybe Gala is actually not going to be able to have any sort of power in this game. And with several back-to-back kills coming through, some really nice ultimates from Ming as well, now he is actually a terror on the map, and he can actually push several lanes. He can threaten wherever he goes. Wei, also 3 kills to his name, has his Divine Sunder online. And Red Canids aren't even safe to farm necessarily. Aegis is actually kind of playing cleanup. He's trying to follow the action everywhere, but they're losing out now suddenly in all 3 lanes. They're getting picked everywhere. They can't make cross-map plays. And it's like, okay, yeah, you got the Drake like you were talking about. Now it's a 1-for-1 Drake game. That extra, you know, little bit of damage that you're going to get from that solo Infernal is significant for this comp. But if it's at the cost of a little bit of greed there, getting punished, it's not worth it at the end of the day. I mean, of course it's worth it on this isolation, but if you get punished outwards, where are the advantages here for Red Canids? Like, we're really trying to stretch for them now. And it's so tragic given the lead they had before. And, you know, okay, this is a risky place to be.
Yeah, just, you know, going for a nice little walk by the river. is Titan, and so is Aegis, so he's just going to die. I mean, this is one of the issues. They need somebody to frontline and get some vision, but unfortunately, he will just go down as he does not have any help and any vision to try to move into that river, and was not allowed to actually do that.
Look at the vision here as well. All the deep wards that RNG have had on the map. You can see it. So RNG plays so well around vision. They are so oppressive. And I think to the layman watching this, it's like, oh, this is, you know, RNG just hiding in a bush. They always do this. But they actually set up around Rift Herald here and say, oh, you have no vision. I know exactly where you are. And you can either just give the Rift Herald up or walk into a bush where we have insane CC. We have a Galio. We have a fed Lucian. We're going to blow you up. It's a lose-lose scenario that RNG set up.
Yeah, welcome to Poke Champ Lucian. I hope you did enjoy that, as Titan now has 0 health. And, I mean, he was underneath his turret, and he nearly died. So, that is the potential of a Lucian that gets into a nice little spot here. Grevthar has been sent to kind of handle this side lane, because as it stands now, you know, Jax will be very good in the split pushing in the side lane eventually. But with just the Divine Sunder, he's not really going to do very well from this far behind against Bin. And so that is just going to be the Viktor clearing waves there, and Jax gets the other lane as RNG get the rest of the map.
It's such a beautiful thing to watch RNG when they manipulate the map, manipulate vision, go towards objectives, and they stand between the enemy team and where the enemy team needs to be. And so there is no great choice for Red Canids. We've seen them do this several times in both of the games they've played so far this tournament. And it almost feels like, you know, when you watch the team who walks on the brush, if you're a fan of Red Canids, you're watching them going like, don't go in there, they're in there. And it's like, well, they know they're very likely in there, but if they just walk away, they lose the objective for free. It's a lose-lose game. And, you know, historically speaking, we think of the LCK as being the region that's best at manipulating vision, but so far in this tournament, I think RNG has definitely been the best team at setting this up and playing around it. With the lead they have here, they can control all 3 waves, and RNG are in a position now, second Rift Herald, to start putting some real inner turret damage down. And you can't free farm, really. I mean, Aegis is, Grevthar is getting some of that done here in the side lane, as you mentioned, but it's going to take a lot longer.
And I don't know if Jojo can be allowed to actually engage onto this one, as the... Okay, yeah, he's just dead. There's not too much else to say about that. The Gale force forward, and yeah, he wasn't getting away from that one, even with a flash. As Titan is around, he has the rest of his team here. As RNG pick up the free Nautilus kill. You know, as Red Canids, you've got some scaling. You have 1 Infernal. Maybe just try to sit back and continue the farming rather than looking for plays. And, you know, I forget who said it earlier on in this tournament, but Nautilus can turn into a little bit of a feeder champ, right?
Yeah.
When you're behind, when you have no ability to make plays, you kind of just go in and die, or you don't really end up doing much.
Well,
so,
you know, in a position like this...
Trying to take down Bin, as he is under a lot of pressure here, not respecting the vision of that brush, and they will get a shutdown into the hands of the Viktor.
Man, that's massive. You know, he's the one who's sitting in this side lane, actually picking up all that gold. Picking up that shutdown is massive for what his scaling is going to do. But you still can't get to the Drake. That's the problem. And why Jojo was out there? Why was he caught? He's trying to clear vision. Drake is spawning. How do I get there? RNG's in between them.
Titan has to flash away from this one. There was a bubble onto Jojo, and Gala's just running into 3 of them as the exhaust will come down. We got teleports in here as well. Gala definitely went a bit too far on that one, as Gigo's going to pick up that shutdown. Xiaohu, he wants to get something on the backside, and he will clean up the Wukong at least. But that's a couple of shutdowns now that are going over into the hands of Red Canids.
Yeah, and we're still not in a place yet where we can start to feel great about that, but it's almost like small consolation prizes along the way. And these small things will add up if RNG can't end this game early. But that's going back to the conversation before we got into this game, even of how they've been playing this tournament, is they are ending games early. They are not tripping across the finish line. They are sprinting across the finish line. And so one of the best teams at closing games out when they have a lead like this is very likely not to mess this up. But this is the kind of setup I'm talking about for RNG. They cleared vision. They picked Jojo earlier. They are standing between the important Drake that Red Canids need to fight for and the Drake. So, you know, you do end up getting caught between a rock and a hard place as Red Canids. Now, Gala, a little bit overextended here. Definitely goes a little bit too deep. A lot of extra gold going over to Red Canids. But at the end of the day, This is the kind of play I'm talking about with RNG. You could just play it safe, walk back and take the Drake, or you could get 3 kills and take a bigger lead and win the game faster, and that's the kind of play style we are seeing.
And take a look at what has happened in the last 2 minutes here, is that we got a shutdown gold into Grevthar, we got shutdown gold into GUIGO Jax and Viktor, by the way, and now we got an objective bounty on the top turret going into the Red Canids. So, you know, while RNG are still in control of this game, bit by bit, Red Canids are finding some opportunities to try to come back into this game. So definitely what we want to see is RNG maybe clean things up, try to shut this down in a macro sense, deny all the vision, take a Baron perhaps, and try to end this game before things get any more greasy.
RNG grouping up here in mid, giving Grevthar an opportunity to side lane very freely. Notice there are 3 wards where he is, so he knows he's safe to do this right now. And he's just going to stick it out as long as possible. Oh, man.
That's a dead Draven. That is a dead Nautilus. Yeah, that's Xiaohu making plays. That is what this guy is known for doing.
I mean, that's what Lucian does. That's what Xiaohu's going to do when he's got a Lucian behind him to set up for these plays. And I mean,
yeah, you guys can't fight.
You can't be here. You can't be behind, you can't be in front of your turret right now. If you're going to play around the Viktor, if you're going to play around the Viktor side laning, then play defensively. Give a turret to get the turret bounty for your Viktor. Don't be out in front of it. Because I like the idea of what they're doing with Grevthar. It's like, okay, you're going to get a turret bounty maybe on the top side of the map. We're going to try to hold them here. We'll give up a turret, but the turret on the top side is more valuable for our team. In global gold, we're going to pick up from that bounty. They do eventually give it up, but Grevthar came back. Doesn't actually get that inner turret gold bounty I was talking about there on the top side. But I do like the vision they're setting up for him. They're setting up to take away control of the top side of the map, give him some free side, because they know their win condition is this game goes to 35 minutes. And they have to somehow survive and get Viktor that gold in the meantime.
Right now, I mean, if you look at the items that RNG are picking up right now, a lot of them are hitting 2-item power spikes, 3-item power spike here for Gala. He has so many kills. And CS, I mean, he's got the most in the game, right? So he is the most rich, and he is showing it with his 3 items. Picked up that cheap collector as well.
Yeah, 2-item advantage.
You can't fight them right now. It's not really going to happen. Unless you can set up 2v1s like this as the flash comes in again. Is Grevthar in position to get this down? The needles are making him sustain so much. Bean is going to eventually go down, as Grevthar will at least pick up the kill, but he might be going down himself as he has no idea that they're coming in. Gala is just licking his lips, ready to take yet another kill.
The idea here was good because the turret is standing and it has a bounty on it. You get the kill onto the Gwen. If you teleport in the 2v1, you get that turret bounty. You get a lot of extra gold on your Viktor. But unfortunately, they're just not able to take the Gwen down. They're too far behind. They're trying to make a proactive play to grab the last 10% of that turret health to get the bounty that comes with it. Like the idea here again, but unfortunately, Gwen is not a champion you could do this to. If it was a squishier side laner, or one that cannot sustain itself and trade like this, you know, maybe it works out. It's so long to kill Gwen also that you give enough time for RNG to rotate down. Doesn't allow you to clean that turret up after you get the kill. In fact, Viktor dies instead. And RNG just have such a massive lead now. We're hitting nearly the 10K gold mark. This is just almost insurmountable.
Yeah, you know, say what you want about scaling, but you know, we're both on the same page here, Wolf. I think that, you know, 10 stacks of the Dark Seal for Xiaohu's Deathless Galio is one problem. And then
3
you have
stopwatches as well.
You've got 3 stopwatches. You have so much survivability with just the items, right? Because we have a Zhonya's in the works as well for the Gwen eventually. You just have so many ways to survive this. You know, Xiaohu could even build into a Madiz if he wanted to, because I don't think he's ever going to die in this game, even if he is diving turrets. So we are going to have a bit of a fight here. Gwen going to set up the Galio potentially. She's got the needles coming out, and Grevthar is going to flash away. Nice gravity field is going to save him for now, but not sure if he can actually get away. Wei trying to frontline here. That hook is not going to hit. Grevthar with a very nice stopwatch, though. It's now a 2v2 on the left side, but they're getting dominated by Gala as we speak. The double kill comes in. He sets up a huge knockup on us, so many, but those are the stopwatches we love to see. It's a triple kill for Gala. Can he pick up more? That will be the quadra as he's looking for Grevthar.
He's got flash.
Once again, licking his lips. That is the pentakill. Gala does it again.
Gala, the man himself, picking up Lucian, picks up a pentakill here, and what a flashy way to end this game. Such great vision control, so many bait setups, the commitment to bin repeatedly for Red Canids here. backfires immensely because this is a champion who can survive buy time for the rotation. Look at all of these wards around the bottom side of the map. You want to make a play like this onto the Gwen, look at the lack of vision they have. They have no idea where these players are. You commit in like this, and it takes you so long to make the play. You're on the retreat. Now you're trapped. They are coming behind you. And again, you want that turret in the bottom side. You want that last bit. You want that bounty, but you are just not going to get it. You're too far behind. You need to be farming basically in your base at this point. That's a 10,000 gold lead you're up against. You're trying to kill a sustainable win. It's not going to happen. And this is basically the last nail in the coffin for this game here for RNG, who will now group up for Baron.
Yes. Shout out to Oshin, by the way. Wanted to give him, tried to do some justice for the Gala call. Yeah. Love that one, as he does pick up the pentakill. I felt like it was the right moment, even though RNG are kind of stomping them at this moment. But, you know, 12 kills and a pentakill, I feel like it's a nice little moment to give him a little shout out there. So now he has an Infinity Edge, and it feels like this game is, as you would say, Wolf, over.
It's done. It is over. It is over. I mean, it's been over for a while. It has been over for a while, sadly, but the ideas the Red Canids were looking for, can see them, but oh man, this is what I'm talking about. No vision. RNG removes all of it. You have to come to them.
Yeah. Now we just have the tidal wave and Grevthar on the Viktor. You know, if this were 10 minutes later and he had a couple more items, maybe he could try to burst someone down. Maybe he'd still have his flash if the game was a little bit more even.
Like, I mean, Matthew Perry or what? Matthew Perry moment here, like, could there be any more wards here for RNG on this map? Like, this is insane how much vision control they have. They are just, there's nothing you could do as Red Canids here. You're behind, you don't know if they're doing the Baron, you don't know if they're in that bush, you don't know if they're in the other bush on the other side, but you can't just let them have it. It's just crazy how much control they have over this game. And yes, when you are this far ahead, it's very easy to do that, but it's oppressive. And at this point, it almost feels like RNG are playing with their food. When they got the pentakill, they were like, let's not kill the Nexus, let's do it again. It almost feels that way in a lot of ways. Yeah.
Vroom, vroom, through the tunnel. Nicely done, RNG. They seem very happy with that about themselves. Oh, they're doing it again! I love the exit grift.
You don't want to be anywhere near this team right now if you're Red Canids. Now, because they're grouping up as 5 here to just push top with Baron buff and end the game, they have given Red Canids some opportunity to farm on the bottom side, but it's insignificant because they don't have enough time to get what they need. Look at the items here for Grevthar. He's got a Leandri's, and he's almost got a Shadow Flame. That is not going to be enough. He is not going to be able to win a longer team fight because there is no long fight here.
Nope, and Gala's just going to throw out a culling and nearly kill 3 people by looking at them as they're pushing in with the Baron. Not the shortest game of MSI, but maybe one of the more dominant ones that we will have here. 27 minutes as Xiaohu going to frontline here. That is going to be the end of Grevthar yet again, as we do have Xiaohu still deathless, and Ben just trying to frontline here. He's just trying to set up for his teammates. Good guy, Ben, and he will pick this up. This might just be another, no, he's gonna die, actually. Not gonna be another pentakill for the side of Gala, but it doesn't really matter because RNG are going to take yet another dominant victory in this Group B. Viego will be taken out first, and that will be the end of the Nexus as RNG continues with their dominance in this group.
That'll be a 3-0 now for the LPL representative. Dominant fashion here, despite what was a very rocky early game. The early kill going over in the bottom side to Titan. They had control there. They were pushing those waves in. Mid was basically free farm for the Viktor throughout the early game. And yes, in the top side of the map, not a lot of resources needed to be committed to, but some mechanical errors on the Jax, some overextensions on objectives, a little bit of greed there in the mid lane led to several punishes, and the lead they had, which seemed so strong, it seemed like it was going to be a coast to that late game scaling, was ripped away by RNG in seconds. And RNG making a statement with this win here. It's so rare to see a pentakill in an international tournament, even with, you know, the early group stages, right? It's just almost unheard of, and it's Gala who pulls it off again.
Gala does get it done, and RNG do as well in very dominant fashion. But guys, now a question from the latest episode Rift Reaction Podcast. What MSI group are you most excited about? Group A, Group B, or Group of Life C? Head over to the episode on Spotify to share your thoughts. Here from MSI, we'll soon take a look at the state of Group B before it's time for Saigon